middle age. That's when my prostate turned against me. My lifestyle hadn't changed, but I started to notice weird differences in the bathroom. I would get searing urges to pee, but when I was there standing over the toilet, nothing would come out. And then, when it did come out, my pee would dribble like a pathetic old hose. I started waking up more times than usual at night to take a leak. At first it was no big deal, but when 2 times turned to 3 times and 3 times turned to 5 times, I would wake up with that cloudy, hungover feeling, even though I had nothing to drink the night before. All this left me feeling slow, lethargic, and moody. To make matters worse, I noticed pounds of fat started piling on, even though I didn't change my diet. But I soon learned that BPH is one of the leading causes of weight gain. That's because it makes it impossible to sleep. And when you don't sleep well, your body hoards fat, especially around your waistline. This was so frustrating because I always tried to eat well. But when I started seeing ugly rolls of fat in the mirror and the bags under my eyes getting darker, I got so ticked off that my only joy in life became splurging on sugary, fatty foods, which of course sped up my weight gain. It was like my bladder hijacked my life and I had zero control. It got to the point where if I even looked at a cup of coffee, I'd have to go to the bathroom, which also turned me into a bathroom detective. Wherever I went, I would always scout out where I could pee if duty called. This made me constantly distracted, like I wasn't there. My wife Monica hated that, and so did I, but I couldn't help it. Crazy enough, I even noticed my hair starting to fall out, which is a huge red flag that I'll tell you more about shortly. I'll share an easy natural fix too. So by that point, not only could I not pee to save my life, but I also couldn't sleep. I was fat and my hair was falling out. Daily activities got harder. I couldn't sit down for more than an hour without getting up to go to the bathroom. And little things that never bothered me before left me furious. It was affecting my marriage with Monica too. This is embarrassing to admit, but in the rare moments where I had the energy to get intimate, I couldn't get hard. She was still the beautiful woman I married, but I lost my desire, and getting aroused turned into a chore. I told myself this was all an unavoidable part of getting older, but still I did everything I could think of to fix it. I cut out alcohol, coffee, and junk food. I read that diet affects the prostate, so I tried low carb, keto, and paleo. I took walks in the morning and I drank exotic teas. I even went to a nutritionist and loaded up on vitamins. Yet I could literally feel my prostate get heavier as my bathroom trips got more frequent and my stream got weaker. I learned how frustrating it feels to try everything, but still feel like a prisoner trapped in your own body. Finally, Monica convinced me to see a doctor. I was dreading this moment because I knew what it would include. And after asking me a bunch of questions, I dropped my pants, bent over, and his fingers went into you-know-where. He told me that my prostate was a lot bigger than normal. I had what he called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH for short. BPH is a fancy medical term for enlarged prostate. He also told me that it was irreversible, and the best I could hope for was to manage the symptoms. So he put me on several prescription meds, including Flomax and Proscar. The side effects were awful. Nausea followed me around like a dark cloud. I had headaches all day and night, and I felt even more tired than I did before. Despite all this, my nighttime bathroom trips didn't get any better. Sure, I noticed my stream improved by about 10%, but I was still waking up 5+ times a night, which made me feel like all the extra pain was for nothing. It was a terrible existence I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. I went back to the doc for another test, and he confirmed my worst fears. My prostate wasn't any better. In fact, he said it was bigger. I was scared and confused. I followed the doctor's orders. Monica made sure I never missed my meds, so how could I be getting worse? The doc switched up my meds, and now the side effects included dizziness. Sometimes when I stood up, it hit me like a hammer. More than once, I almost fell over in front of a classroom full of students. When that failed to fix my prostate, I graduated to weekly catheter treatments. And yeah, you heard that right. Every week I'd drive down to the clinic and some young nurse would stick a 16-inch catheter up my manhood, just so I could empty my bladder all the way and experience a few hours of relief. I would have gone daily, but I couldn't stand to see that foot-long steel blade go into my you-know-what. But that was nothing compared to the pain those bills caused us. I was paying $2,250 a month out of pocket. That's over $27,000 a year to treat symptoms, not fix the problem. Friend, I'll never forget lying on the couch that summer like a waste of space. I can still hear my family having fun in the backyard, making memories I'd never be a part of. because I was too tired and depressed to join them. Instead, I lay there staring at the TV like a zombie, seeing endless big pharma ads for antidepressants, erection pills, and diabetes drugs. But despite the happy faces in the commercials, I knew the truth. None of those treatments are meant to cure you. They're designed to turn you into a slave that depends on big pharma for meds every month, but never actually getting better. Then, after another year of living hell, which now included adult diapers, my whole world came crashing down on the day of my daughter's wedding. I spent the next 5 days in the hospital hooked up to a catheter. I was told that if my condition didn't get better, I had another year until my kidneys gave out and I'd need a transplant. Now, if you're like I was, you might not understand the connection between your prostate and kidneys. The kidney's job is to get rid of urine. When something stops with that process, like an enlarged prostate, kidney failure is the inevitable result. I hated having my family see me in that bed, kept alive by lifeless beeping machines. The mix of fear, pity, and worry made it impossible to look them in the eyes. I was supposed to be the man of the house, the protector, the provider. But instead, I'd ruined the biggest day of my daughter's life. And soon, I'd be an incontinent old man whose only future included a nursing home. I asked to have a moment alone with my daughter. I took back tears of shame as I tried to apologize for ruining her wedding day. She stopped me, grabbed my hand, and said, "Daddy, none of that matters now. You'll get better. And when you do, we'll have the wedding again. You will walk me down that aisle." I squeezed her hand, forced a smile, and pretended everything would be okay. But that night, as I lay alone in the dark, I thought about ending it all. The only future I could imagine was shuttling between doctor's appointments for the rest of my days, gulping down pills that made me dizzy, irritated, and drained our finances. I knew Monica would insist on taking care of me. What kind of life would that be for her? But that night, while I slept, I dreamed of my father. I remember being a young man sitting at his bedside with my little brother as he battled prostate cancer. And despite his grim diagnosis, he said there was no way he was leaving. He said we still had many memories to make, but my father never made it out of the hospital. The Lord, the universe, whatever higher calling you believe in, took him away from us at 67. But he fought it out like the stubborn man he was until the bitter end for our sake. When I remembered his courage, I snapped out of my pathetic self-pity. In that dark hospital room, I prayed to the good Lord for his strength and guidance. I vowed to reclaim my health so I could become the man my family needed. When I was released from the hospital the next day, I dove headfirst into research. I started with a simple question: what causes enlarged prostates in the first place? But when I dug into it, I couldn't find a straight answer. Most websites say the cause is unknown. Some doctors say it's because of changing hormones, and others say it's an unavoidable part of getting older. I even watched an hour-and-a-half lecture from a doctor at UCLA, and when someone in the audience asked him about the cause, he glossed over it, saying it just happens with age. If you ask me, that's a pretty lazy answer. After all, if you don't know the cause of a problem, how can you solve it? At most, all you'd hope to do is cover up the symptoms, which is exactly what Big Pharma does anyway. So this lack of clarity shouldn't have surprised me, but still, it pissed me off. I followed their advice, and look where it got me. In a hospital bed, hooked up to a catheter, disgraced in front of my own family. And friend, if you're still with me, you need to keep watching, because no one deserves the hell that comes from an enlarged prostate. After 72 hours of reading papers and watching videos, I concluded that the standard info about prostate health wasn't going to help. And besides, I had a feeling that something else was behind my problems, something the doctors didn't know about or weren't telling me. I had to dig deeper. I live an hour from one of the nation's top medical universities with a library full of studies, so I decided to look there for answers. But I never could have predicted what happened next. Monica didn't want me out of her sight, so she packed up my meds and a weekend's worth of my diapers, and off we went. As soon as I got to the library, I went to work like a college kid cramming for finals. I pored over scientific journals and the latest studies on BPH, male hormones, and prostate health. Yet after a few hours, the sun had set, and I was the last person in the library. I was exhausted and ready to pack it in for the night when I heard a voice from behind me. "Did you find what you were looking for?" I looked over and saw a young librarian pushing a cart full of books. She seemed friendly, and I could use all the help I could get, so I told her about my research. She introduced herself as Lindsay, a a med student at the school, and said, "You need to look into Professor Cash's research." She explained Professor Cash was a visiting lecturer at the university and one of the world's leading endocrinologists. An endocrinologist specializes in hormone-related issues, including issues related to the prostate. Lindsay had taken a class with him and said he was brilliant, but he'd been angry with the university ever since they refused to promote his research. "What research might that be?" I asked. Lindsay motioned for me to follow. I hobbled after her, and she led me to the back of the library to an unmarked door. She took a set of keys from her pocket and opened it. Inside was a storage room filled with dusty metal cabinets. She began opening them, revealing folders with more research papers and studies. "These are the ones that never see the light of day," she said, handing me one of the folders. Inside was a dusty document with Professor Cash's name on it, and Lindsay let me stay after the library closed so I could read the secret paper. Little did I know it was that precise moment that would put me on a path there was no turning back from. According to Professor Cash, prostate growth is not a mystery condition with an unknown cause, but instead it's caused by a short circuit in the male hormonal system. Now, you've heard of testosterone and estrogen before, right? Testosterone makes men men, and estrogen makes women women. You can think of them like cousins. But testosterone has a big brother, and his name is DHT. DHT is basically testosterone on steroids. It's what literally turns boys into men. DHT is most active when a boy goes through puberty. So when you went through puberty, your body pumped out DHT like crazy. It developed the growth of your private parts, body hair, muscle mass, and made your voice deep. But it also performed another little-known function. It developed your prostate gland. Now, remember this point because it's very important. DHT developed your prostate decades ago. But after that, well, DHT hangs out in the body doing nothing. That is, until you reach the age of 40. You probably already know that when a man turns 40, his testosterone levels start going down every year. But what you may not know is that DHT stays constant. No matter if you're 40 or 80, you'll have the same amount of DHT in your body. And here's how the hormonal short circuit happens. When your testosterone goes down, your estrogen goes up. They work like a seesaw. But when DHT sees this happen, it goes into workhorse mode, like it did when you were in puberty, because it sees your male hormones out of balance. So DHT tries to save the testosterone you're losing every year. The problem is when DHT goes into workhorse mode. It makes the prostate get bigger, because it tells the prostate to make more prostate cells. DHT has good intentions, but its effects on men over 40 are disastrous. It grows your prostate, ruins your sleep, and it even causes hair loss. Now, you know what I meant earlier when I said this isn't your fault. DHT has been working overtime, trying to fight back against your body's declining testosterone levels. So, according to Professor Cash, the key to stopping and reversing prostate growth is to stop DHT. And to do this, Professor Cash thought the answer might lie in natural, plant-based compounds called phytochemicals. So he performed a massive, deep dive search on 258 studies going back decades, something called a meta-analysis. He had one question: which phytochemicals can block DHT? And there, right before my eyes, was a study after study of 14 phytochemicals proven to do exactly that. And in the process, stop prostate growth, restoring blissful sleep, powerful streams, and confidence in thousands of human patients. The only problem? For some reason, the names of the phytochemicals had been redacted from the document. I rushed over to Lindsay, who was sitting at the librarian's desk. "This is it," I said, holding up the document. "This is the information I've been looking for." "But why are the details redacted?" "For the same reason the university buried it in a backroom file cabinet," she said. Lindsay looked up Professor Cash's research on her computer, then turned it around so I could see the screen. "That's who funded the research," she said. "They're one of the largest donors to the university. You can probably guess why they didn't want Professor Cash's findings becoming known. I don't want to say the name of this billion-dollar big pharma corporation and get their lawyers after me, so I'll just say this. You've heard of them, and you've seen their TV commercials. Professor Cash was a direct threat to their profits. Fortunes would be lost if the public knew of a safe, natural list of nutrients that could stop BPH and reverse enlarged prostates. So the corporation buried the research, and the university kept receiving millions in grant money. Everyone wins, except for you and me. The next day, I visited a lecture hall where Professor Cash was giving a talk. When he finished, I walked over to him. I was a sad sight, with bags under my eyes and the adult diaper showing through my sweatpants. Professor Cash, on the other hand, looked like he was ready to run a marathon. He was 62, according to his bio, but he could have passed for a healthy 45. I told him that I had found his research fascinating. Then I ran through my story, how the meds were making my life worse, and how I was in danger of needing a transplant. I know you're busy, so I'll get right to it, I said. The list of 14 phytochemicals you wrote about, could you tell me their names? The professor must have felt sorry for him, because he invited me to come to his office. We sat down, and he said, the Hadza people deserve the credit, not me. Then he pushed a button on his laptop, and a video began to play. A lush valley surrounded by mountains filled the screen. Then I saw what looked like members of some ancient tribe. This is the Hadza tribe, he explained. They're modern hunter-gatherers living in northern Tanzania. What's incredible about them, Professor Cash continued, is that despite having zero access to modern medicine, they're some of the healthiest people on the planet. They have no diseases, no obesity, no diabetes, no cancer, and certainly no prostate issues. Professor Cash must have sensed my skepticism, because then he said, trust me, I didn't believe it at first either. So I went to see for myself. He went to live with them for 6 months to learn more about their diet, lifestyle, and traditional medicine. In that time, he didn't come across a single Hadza man suffering from cancer, diabetes, hypertension, or any other medical condition. I was in awe at how joyful they looked. Even the elders were full of life. But being a man in my 60s, I too was curious if these tribal men suffered from prostate enlargement, Professor Cash explained. But it wasn't like he could give them prostate exams. So he relied on a diagnostic test called the International Prostate Symptom Score. It's a 7-question survey doctors across the world rely on to assess whether you have BPH. With the help of a translator, Professor Cash surveyed 37 men over the age of 50 from the tribe. To his astonishment, not one of them had any indication of prostate swelling. In fact, they laughed at his questions, and many looked at him like he was crazy. The idea of a weak stream was as foreign as Professor Cash's accent. So he compiled a list of the herbs and plants the Hadza ate. He was especially curious about a brew the men drank every morning. They called it the Jazida Basma. After getting a sample of the morning brew, he studied it relentlessly, and he determined the key ingredient was carotene, which comes from the soil of Lake Eyasi near the tribe's village. Professor Cash went on to explain that carotene has been worshipped as a miracle food since the 12th century, and today studies show carotene possesses powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antibiotic, antiviral, and even anti-cancer properties. But you don't hear about it in Western medicine. Yet on the other side of the world, it's known as a natural remedy for heart disease, cardiovascular disease, asthma, even obesity. And when it comes to the prostate, carotene has another unique quality that made my heart jump out of my chest with excitement. See, on top of its other amazing benefits, carotene stops prostate growth and even reverses swollen prostate glands. According to Professor Cash, carotene activates a triple action healing process in the prostate. Step 1. Carotene blocks your body from making DHT. When this happens, your prostate can relax and breathe, since it's no longer told by DHT to make more prostate cells. This is the most important step of the process, and without it, shrinking your prostate is impossible. Step 2. Carotene boosts your testosterone levels. This stops the short circuit we talked about earlier. Remember, when you get older, your testosterone goes down. But because of the seesaw effect, your estrogen then goes up. When your estrogen goes up, so does your body's production of DHT. And that's the root cause behind weak streams, sleepless nights, and a sexless love life. The other amazing benefit of step 2 is that more testosterone means less belly fat, more muscle, stronger erections, and a big boost in your daily sense of power. Step 3. Carotene's anti-inflammatory properties reverse your enlarged prostate, shrinking it down to its normal size. That's right, carotene not only blocks the root cause of prostate growth and stops it from getting bigger, but it also shrinks the prostate down to its healthy size. See, prostate enlargement is another word for prostate inflammation. Inflammation makes things swell and get bigger, but like I said earlier, carotene has anti-inflammatory properties. So when you give your body this power nutrient, it goes straight to the prostate and puts out the inflammatory flames that have aggravated your prostate for so long. So picture this. DHT grounds to a halt in your body. Your testosterone levels soar, and your swollen prostate deflates down to its normal and healthy size. This triple action process restores healthy prostate function and protects you from ever again suffering from out of control prostate growth. Instead of your prostate working against you, it works for you. The prostate gland goes from blow up mode to shrink down mode. A normal, healthy prostate becomes your default setting. And just like the Hadza men, this prostate healing process happens on autopilot. Yet, this was only the beginning of Professor Cash's breakthrough. He identified other plant-based compounds in the Hadza's morning brew that amplified and accelerated its benefits. But as he explained to me, the power of this formula wasn't only about the ingredients. I experimented with different dosages and tried adding other elements, he said. When you combine the right super nutrients in precise amounts, a synergistic effect occurs. But too much of one ingredient and not enough of the other won't trigger the optimal reaction. Professor Cash wrote it all on a piece of paper, folded it up, and handed it to me. He had to get to his next class. I thanked him, and as he headed to the door, I said, "It's a shame your work isn't getting the recognition it deserves. This could help millions of men." He paused at the doorway and looked back at me. "I believe it still can," he said, "but now it's in your hands. You have my blessing to share this with those in need. I've done my part. Next week, when the semester ends, I'm moving my family back to India." And with that, he was gone. When Monica and I got home, I jumped online and searched for all 14 ingredients. Some of them were impossible to find in the US, so I'd need to order them from overseas. It cost me an arm and a leg, but a week later, I gathered the ingredients and was ready to follow the instructions Professor Cash had given me. This was no easy process. I had to grind the ingredients into powder, measure and mix them together, then drink the brew within 30 minutes of waking up. The bitter taste almost made me gag, but I gulped it down. Then I went about my day like normal and hoped for the best. The next morning, it dawned on me. Instead of going to the bathroom my normal 5 times a night, I only had to go 3 times. I was amazed at how refreshed and clear-headed I felt. Just those few extra minutes of deep sleep made all the difference. I couldn't help but smile as I jumped out of bed, and as I headed to the bathroom for my morning pee, I swear, my stream was at least 25% stronger, and instead of taking the usual 15 to 20 seconds to start, my stream hit the porcelain instantly. Monica couldn't believe it. What had gotten into me? Now, I wasn't ready to tell her about Professor Cash's brew yet. After all the letdowns and false promises over the years, I was skeptical this would keep working, but I kept taking the brew every morning. I even started a journal to count the number of times I had to pee during the day and at night. After 2 weeks, I was shocked to see the average number of nighttime trips went from 5 down to 2. Can you imagine only having to get up twice to pee? And there was no denying how alert I felt, which makes sense because sleep is vital for brain health. But here's where it gets even crazier. When I stepped on the scale, there was more good news. I was down 7 pounds. That's when I realized I hadn't been snacking during the day like I usually did, because now I had energy and I started exercising like I used to. And since I wasn't so tired and stressed out all the time, I didn't feel the urge to binge on comfort food. Then, a week later, I was down to only 1 bathroom trip a night. The bags under my eyes were disappearing and the pounds kept falling off. I was no longer dribbling urine throughout the day, which meant I could ditch my adult diapers. I can't tell you how freeing that moment was for me. I started getting up earlier than usual, full of energy and actually excited about the day ahead. It was like my body wanted to make up for lost time. I picked up my car restoration project in the garage I had abandoned. On Sunday, I took my family to the movies for the first time in 2 years because I could finally sit through from start to finish. And that night, Monica and I got intimate for the first time in years. Afterwards, as we lay there together on cloud 9, I told her about Professor Cash and the brew. Even though she could see the changes in me, she was concerned. She made me agree that along with the brew, I'd continue taking my meds. Over the next 30 days, the symptoms that made my life a living hell kept fading away. My nighttime bathroom trips were down to once a night. During the day, I was down to 3 times. A was 23 pounds lighter. A trimmer waistline and no more diapers meant I could ditch the sweatpants and fit into my favorite jeans. I felt as if a time machine took me back 20 years to before I even knew what a prostate was. And speaking of time, I had much more of it each day to spend on the activities and with the people I loved. I needed less sleep to feel recharged. My energy levels no longer crashed in the afternoon, and one of my favorite effects of the brew was how it helped me fall asleep right after I closed my eyes. No more tossing and turning. No more waking up to pee. I slept through the night and woke up with no alarm needed. Heck, I even started teaching extra classes. I was excited about my job again. I no longer dreaded getting up in front of my students, worrying I might pee my pants and become the laughingstock of the school. At my next checkup, the doctor had to give me not one but 2 prostate exams to make sure he hadn't been mistaken. Trust me, that really sucked. But what he said next more than made up for the inconvenience. George, your prostate feels 50% smaller than it did the last time you were in here, he said. By all accounts, you've made a remarkable turnaround. It's amazing, actually. I think it's safe to take you off most of your meds, and we'll see how it goes. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. When I got home, I ran up straight to my wife and kissed her like a soldier who had come home from war. I told her the news, and I felt this overwhelming sense of relief wash over me. Now there was a phone call I had to make to my daughter, Julie. It's time to reschedule that wedding, I told her. She knew about my doctor's appointment, so she understood what those words meant for me and for our family. Yet as the days passed, a thought kept crossing my mind. Surely God hadn't allowed me to make this breakthrough just so I could keep it to myself. I had too many friends who struggled with BPH. Too many men trapped in failing, deteriorating bodies. I also knew that even if they led normal lives, their health was a ticking time bomb. It was only a matter of time before their prostates landed them in the hospital or worse. Then I thought of my father and how I lost him far too young to prostate complications. How many other men were out there who needed this? So I began to share my brew with some friends and family members who I knew suffered from prostate issues. Some met the definition of full-on BPH. Others were only just starting to feel the symptoms. I gave them each a few weeks worth of ingredients along with a set of instructions. It cost me quite a bit of money because ordering all the ingredients wasn't cheap, but I felt truly blessed to pay it forward. The men who tried the brew included my 72-year-old stepfather, Jim, my fellow teachers, Roger, 54, and Matthew, 48, who both had told me their nighttime bathroom trips were getting out of control, and my brother, Adam, who'd given up hope of ever getting a restful sleep again. Like so many men, he figured an enlarged prostate was part of life, and there was no getting around it. I also shared the brew with my friend, Jose, a retired firefighter who looked to be in good shape at 73, but he'd been diagnosed with BPH a year earlier. He was starting to lose his mental faculties from poor sleep. All of them experienced astonishing results in the first 30 days. My stepfather Jim's prostate symptom score dropped from severe to mild. He reported that for the first time in years, he could empty his bladder completely, and his nighttime trips dropped from 4 times to 1 time. My brother confessed that he hadn't been intimate with his wife for the last year, but after taking the brew for 2 full weeks, he noticed stronger erections. And not only that, but laughed when he told me his stream was now as powerful as a horse's. Jose beat the prostate curse too. I was thrilled when he texted me to say he can now watch his favorite movies all the way through without getting interrupted. But back to my stepfather, Jim. He was so excited about his transformation, and apparently shameless, that he posted about it on Facebook, bragging about his new prostate secret. When his friends asked him about it, he linked back to my profile, and suddenly I was waking up to friend requests from a bunch of strangers. Jim's post kept getting shared all over social media, and more pleas for help kept pouring into my inbox. But helping all these people just wasn't possible. Some of the ingredients were not only too expensive for some people, but sometimes they'd be out of stock for weeks. I also found that preparing the brew each day was a hassle for many people, and they just didn't want to deal with it. Sadly, that's why my brother eventually threw in the towel and started suffering from the prostate curse once again. This got me thinking, could there be a way to simplify this so the hassle and high cost could be removed? That's when it hit me like a lightning bolt. What if I can find a lab that could order the ingredients in bulk and put them in capsule form? It took me 5 months of contacting facilities across the USA, asking if they could source the ingredients and mix them into capsules, all at a reasonable cost and at the highest level of quality and purity. Finally, I worked out an arrangement with a first-rate FDA-inspected U.S. lab that's also certified in good manufacturing practices. We were extremely careful about the production process and only used the purest and most bioavailable forms of each ingredient. This was crucial because 95% of home remedies, supplements, and topicals have been shown to not contain the ingredients they claim to. And I wanted to make sure that I was delivering to people the most effective prostate-saving solution on the planet. I decided to call my discovery ProstaSoothe because that's exactly what it does. It frees your prostate from the true root cause of BPH. So you can guarantee that when you go to the bathroom, you'll empty every last drop every time. Flow like a fire hose and enjoy uninterrupted sleep every night, giving you back control over your prostate, your health, and your life. Now, you're probably asking how you can get ProstaSoothe for yourself and how to take it for the best results. To be honest, it's very difficult for the general public to get ProstaSoothe. The 14 ingredients must be cultivated in a sterile, state-of-the-art facility, then kept fresh through a proprietary process, something less than 5% of manufacturers in the U.S. have the capabilities to do. And because it helps you achieve and maintain a healthy prostate with zero effort, pretty much everyone who uses it keeps on asking for more of the stuff, because they feel like they finally got their mojo back again. And after years of living life as a slave to their prostate, stuck in deteriorating bodies, regaining that masculine feeling is an amazing sensation. But as word continues to spread, ProstaSoothe is also becoming popular in Europe, which is putting even more of a strain on production, especially since with today's supply chain issues, it can take up to 3 months to custom create each batch. Plus, the ingredients inside ProstaSoothe not only help shrink prostates down to their healthy size in record time, but they also have a laundry list of health benefits. Benefits like improved heart health, stronger erections, more testosterone, less joint pain, sharper brain health. So even people who don't have problem prostates want it, giving them extra protection against even more crippling health conditions. Now, because ProstaSoothe is expensive to make, takes up to 3 months to produce a single batch, and keeps selling out, I usually don't have any ProstaSoothe available for folks. But that said, I also don't want you to suffer from the discomfort, embarrassment, and dangerous complications of bad prostate health. Which is why in the next few moments, I'll share how today, and on this page only, you can get a bottle of ProstaSoothe for as little as $1.63 a day, as part of my brand new prostate protection program. Okay, back to the other question. How much ProstaSoothe do you need to take? That's simple. Take 2 capsules each day for at least 30 days. The reason it's important to take ProstaSoothe for 30 days is pretty straightforward. While the ingredients inside go to work right away, chances are there's a huge buildup of DHT in your body this very second, especially if you're over the age of 40. Remember, every year your testosterone goes down, your DHT works even harder. How many years has DHT been pumping away in the background, inflating your prostate to the size of a balloon without you even knowing it? I'll let you do the math. So even after ProstaSoothe has helped blast DHT, shrunk your prostate down to its normal size, and revived your libido, you'll want to continue rooting out DHT from every corner of your body where it's hiding. That's why most customers prefer to get at least 3 bottles of ProstaSoothe and 6 bottles if you want to be completely safe. Then take it for at least 90 days. That way, you're fighting off DHT for the long term, not just for a few weeks, especially after years of DHT buildup and prostate destruction. This is why it's crucial you use ProstaSoothe as a protective agent, something that continues to keep DHT in check before it causes even more harm. Right now, around the world, men who suffer from stop-and-start streams, weak ejaculations, sleepless nights, whose conditions range from mild to severe, are all discovering this website from family, friends, and a handful of experts willing to take a stand against Big Pharma. They found that when put to the test, ProstaSoothe is giving them their lives and God-given manhood back. Just like Craig Milligan from Charlotte, North Carolina. He says,
"So I started using about 6 months ago and saw benefits within just a few days. No more getting up 5 to 6 times a night, having to go to the bathroom before I go anywhere. My urologist told me the only option was to take the meds he prescribed or have surgery. So I fired him. It was the best move I could ever have made. As a faithful user, I no longer have a problem with bladder."
And then there's Jim Cannon from Spokane, Washington.
Before taking this product, I would wake up every 2 to 3 hours with the urge to urine. After taking this for 3 weeks, I was able to soundly sleep all night long. This has certainly improved my quality of life.
Finally, there's Henry Gonzalez from Dallas, who writes,
These work really well. When I take these, I get a nice, steady, powerful stream, and I don't have to get up 3 or 4 times a night. I can definitely tell the difference.
Now, those are just a handful of the hundreds of stories I'm receiving every week. But you should know that ProstaSoothe is only available on this website, and only while there are supplies in stock. The truth is, ProstaSoothe is your only real chance to wave a final goodbye to sleepless nights, weak streams, and bathroom problems. It's something that can help protect you for years to come, so you can continue to enjoy life free from the prostate curse, and so you no longer need to use expensive, side effect-filled alternatives that only provide temporary relief, but don't deal with the actual root cause, which, as you now know, is a massive buildup of DHT. Think about how freeing it will be to no longer be embarrassed by always running off to the bathroom, to wake up feeling rested and energized, and to go about your day knowing you can trust your bladder. Just imagine how good it will feel to watch as the nighttime trips fade away, to forget that you haven't had to pee for several hours, and to have a stream so strong that it feels like you can almost carve your initials in the toilet. Simply put, to finally feel like yourself again. Of course, that's not to say there aren't other options. For example, you could try other vitamins, but besides the fact that none of them work on the root cause, most don't get absorbed by the body, so they only lead to expensive pee. It's the same with procedures like catheters. All you're doing is treating the late-stage symptom of a deeper problem. Don't even get me started on Big Pharma's options. Who has the money for a $93,000 a year drug that only leaves them feeling worse off? How about $5,000 a month for dizziness, headaches, irritability, and even more fatigue? The fact is, your health is just another number on Big Pharma's balance sheet. They don't care about you. If they actually wanted to help, they wouldn't charge you crushing fees to keep you on their medication merry-go-round. Instead, they'd funnel all those billions into research and development with the goal of finding an actual cure. So I'm sure you can agree these solutions all but guarantee your prostate will get bigger and bigger. Plus, you'll still have lots of DHT in the body, causing a whole host of health issues that you can't get a handle on, like ED and baldness, and putting you on a path of more meds and more side effects. That's why I first set the investment in ProstaSoothe at $147 per bottle, which honestly I think is extremely fair. It's less than you'll pay for doctor visits, vitamins, or meds over the course of the year. Yet, unlike those, ProstaSoothe is your only real chance of getting outside the medical industrial complex. A complex where corrupt corporations, bribable doctors, and unhelpful advice keep you confused for the rest of your life. Plus, considering there's only one facility in the nation that meets my production requirements, and that each capsule contains the purest and most bioavailable form of these ingredients in existence, $147 really is a steal. But despite all that, my mission is to help people, which means everyone deserves access to ProstaSoothe. That's why I'm offering my prostate soothing formula to the public now through a special prostate protection program. And why, if you act right now and make the life-changing decision to join the 55,000 plus men before you, you can take an entire 50% off the normal retail price and claim your very own supply of ProstaSoothe for just $69 per bottle. And actually, that's just the start. Because after going through my own journey and watching countless friends experience the same hardship, it gave me the reality check that no matter how good your family's genes, no matter how healthy, active, and worry-free you are today, any man can fall victim to age-related prostate issues, not only putting them at risk to a terrible existence, but also at risk of complications like UTIs, kidney failure, bladder stones, or worse. So you'd be right to worry about the health of your fathers, brothers, uncles, and sons right now. The good news is you can put those worries to rest with a discounted package plan that's only available today and only on this website, where you can get 6 bottles of ProstaSoothe for only $49 per bottle. This special discount is only available today on this website as part of the prostate protection program, and only while supplies last. You'll also get free shipping, which is a $9.99 value. But both the special multi-bottle discount and the free shipping are limited. When I run out of ProstaSoothe again, it could take up to 3 months before another batch is available. So click the 6-bottle package or any other package you choose below this video right now to secure your order. This is truly one of the smallest or most important investments you'll ever make in your health and well-being. A single bottle of ProstaSoothe will get to work fighting the impacts of DHT. 3 bottles will do the same thing, helping you to get you on the path of recovery fast. And 6 bottles of Prostasoothe will give you an entire 6 months of protection, freeing you from the prison of a bladder you can't trust, and banishing the bone-crushing exhaustion of sleepless nights spent running from your bed to the bathroom only to dribble out a few lousy drops. In other words, that's 6 months of triple action prostate support. 6 months of no longer standing in front of the urinal while everyone stares, and 6 months of control over your bladder, your sleep, and your life. Plus, to help you make the right decision today, I'm also throwing in 2 bonuses that will speed up your results and save you money at no extra cost to you. Bonus number 1 is a free supply of MaxMale. MaxMale contains 5 powerful, natural, and 100% safe ingredients that will transform your sex life. I'll tell you what those 5 ingredients are in a minute, but first, let me explain why I'm doing this for you. When I went through my prostate nightmare, my relationship with Monica suffered. Not only from my inability to be present and the endless bathroom trips, but because our sex life evaporated faster than water in the Sahara Desert. And when that happened, I realized sex is the glue to any healthy, stable relationship. Sure, communication matters and having kids helps, but when it comes down to it, sex is what keeps the passion alive. Sex resets the relationship. Whenever there's an argument or your partner isn't happy, a good session under the sheets makes everything better. And what I also realized was after my prostate troubles went away, as you'll also experience with Prostasoothe, I noticed my sex drive and libido came rushing back with a vengeance, which you'll also no doubt experience. That'll mean more opportunities to get intimate. So to help you take advantage of that and to make sure you're ready to go when the time comes, every 3 and 6 bottle order of Prostasoothe will also get a free supply of MaxMale. MaxMale contains the 5 most potent sex-restoring nutrients on the planet: horny goatweed, fenugreek powder, L-citrulline, nettle leaf, and Tongat Ali. Here's a short overview of how these ingredients work. Horny goatweed improves blood flow to the penis, making it a natural ED killer. Fenugreek has been proven in clinical trials to significantly boost sexual arousal in men. L-citrulline is an amino acid that boosts blood flow by creating nitric oxide, which is absolutely crucial for getting hard. Nettle leaf not only boosts testosterone, but it's also a natural DHT blocker. And Tongat Ali has been shown in 4 separate studies to stimulate arousal and improve ED in men. Just imagine it, waking up every morning with a Woody like the old days, seeing that post-sex glow in your partner's face, knowing all is well between you two, and never again doubting if you'll be able to get it up when duty calls. That's what I want for you. So when you decide to order the 6-bottle option of Prostasoothe, you'll get 2 free bottles of MaxMale. And when you get the 3-bottle option, you'll get 1 free bottle of MaxMale. Normally, a supplement like this on Amazon would cost you at least $40. And given the fact that MaxMale is produced in the same FDA-inspected facility as Prostasoothe, and that each ingredient is sourced from safe, industry-approved suppliers, $40 would be a steal. But something of this quality and purity would run you $50 to $60 minimum. But today, you can get up to a 2-month supply for free. That's $120 of savings, straight to your pocket when you say yes to Prostasoothe today. And that's just the start, because you're also getting bonus number 2, the big book of prostate soothing recipes. Could it be possible to eat pizza, burgers, fried chicken, pancakes, chocolate, ice cream, desserts, and not only shrink your prostate, but also lose belly fat? Short answer, yes. Now, remember, when I explained earlier that enlarged prostate is another word for prostate inflammation, they mean the same thing. Inflammation is a word that describes parts of your body that are swollen, irritated, damaged, etc. And obviously, an enlarged prostate ticks those boxes. And the incredible part about all this is that you can eat in ways that lower inflammation, directly helping to shrink your prostate in the process. But I'm not talking about boring, tasteless diets. I'm talking about a diet that's rich in flavor, leaves you feeling satisfied, and allows you to eat the foods you actually want to eat. That's why every order of Prostasoothe comes with this free 83-page recipe book with step-by-step instructions. If you're lucky enough to have a woman who loves cooking, simply share this PDF with her and ask her to start cooking these meals. They're tasty, easy, and affordable. Here's just a taste of what you can expect. American pancakes, thick pepperoni pizza, buffalo chicken tenders, cheesy bacon chicken, fudge brownies, and much more. Hungry yet? Yeah, me too. But you can relax knowing that with each recipe, no matter how sweet, salty, and savory, you're getting safe, prostate-approved meals. On Amazon, a book like this would cost you $25, but today it's yours free. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking that this all sounds really exciting, and you're asking, how do I get started? Just select the 6-bottle option of ProstaSoothe below this video right now for whatever package makes the most sense for you. Then you'll go to the secure checkout page where you'll enter your order details. And within just 5 business days, you'll get ProstaSoothe right to your front door in a discreet package. So go ahead and grab ProstaSoothe now while there are still bottles in stock. This should be an absolute no-brainer because you're also covered by my unique double guarantee. And trust me, you've never seen anything like this before. Part 1 is my 180-day, 100% money-back guarantee.
No-brainer.
Start using ProstaSoothe now. Feel how it pumps the blood full of healthy nutrients. And watch it all as bathroom tricks get a heck of a lot easier. Enjoy the newfound energy you can only get from deep, uninterrupted sleep. And allow your
No-brainer.
wife, girlfriend,
I've been sitting
or
here
whoever
for
to
45
join you in
minutes.
libido. But if for
Listening
any
to this.
reason you're not happy with your results using ProstaSoothe, simply email or call my US
And this is the only way to get better.
24/7, and you'll get an immediate
This is
refund
the only
with
way to
zero
have
questions
sex.
asked. The best part, you don't even need to go through the hassle of sending the bottles back. They're yours to keep as our way of saying thanks for trying it out. Part 2 is my PSA results guarantee. Now, this only applies if you order the 6-bottle package, and here's why.
Only apply.
PSA is a reading that you take every 3 to 6 months, and it measures prostate-specific antigens in your blood. Basically, the higher
All right,
the PSA
here we go.
result,
Watch
the
this.
bigger your
Let's see what it
prostate.
does.
The lower the result, the smaller and more normal your prostate. Well, based on all the research you saw earlier, it's clear that the best results come from the longer you stick with ProstaSoothe. So, to encourage you to give it at least 6 months to work its magic, this is what I'm willing to offer you. If your PSA levels don't improve after 6 months, not only will you get your money back, but we'll also buy you a 1-month supply of a competitor's product of your choosing. All you have to do is call my US-based
Oh,
customer
shit, now they're
service
gonna give
and
you
let us know
somebody
your levels
else's
didn't get better after 6
product.
months. Tell us what other product you'd like to try, and we'll take it from there. You see, you don't have to decide right now. Decide later by taking advantage of the double guarantee so you can try ProstaSoothe for yourself, if that seems fair to you. Then select the 6-bottle package
12
or any
more
package you
minutes.
choose below this
Give
video
me a
right
break.
now to start your order. This presentation is now ending, and the ultimate decision is yours. One of your choices is to stop watching this video and go about your day. That's your right.
That's
I'm
my
gonna ask you a
choice.
question. What's going to change if you make that choice? How are you going to feel in a month, 6 months, or a year from now if you don't take action today? What will your boss think when your performance goes downhill because you're too exhausted to focus on your job? What about your wife, woken up in the middle of the night every time you get up to run to the toilet, lying there and wondering if you still love her? And she can't help but think it's because you're not attracted to her anymore. Heck, forget everyone else. How will the inability to forget about the bathroom for more than 5 minutes affect your sanity? How are you going to enjoy your life and everything you've worked so hard for up until now if all you can ever think about is where the nearest toilet is? The sad truth is that most guys do nothing, and as a result, they get nowhere. Now look, I'm not saying this to get morbid or to scare you. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to be a victim. I'm telling you this because I want you to make the right choice by reclaiming control of your health and clicking one of the buttons you see below this video. Right now, you can get ProstaSoothe for just $69 per bottle, and for even less than that if you get my popular 3 and 6-bottle packages. Plus, because I really want you to get long-lasting prostate relief, I'm also giving you $145 worth of bonuses, a double guarantee, and free shipping to help you make the right decision today. But when supplies of ProstaSoothe run out, it could be a long 3 months until I get more in. And remember, when the prostate protection program ends, it ends for good, and you'll be stuck with a high retail price. All of this means you really must act now. My mission is to make irritated prostates a thing of the past for men across America. You can play a large part in achieving that goal by joining the Prostate Protection Program today and receiving your order of ProstaSoothe to your front door in a few days from now. It's your decision. This is your last chance. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.
$48 minutes.
Still here? No problem. We just covered a lot, so let me go ahead and answer the most common questions I get. 1, how does ProstaSoothe work again? So
Ain't going through that crap, kid. Look at all these people right here. Five-second morning ritual. BPH. That ought to be a log against that.